Hey everyone, I'm Erica Zeal and I'm so excited for you to join me for this postpartum and beyond core workout today, where I'm going to be incorporating the Naboso Neuro Ball, and I have it here split in half into 2 domes. These are so great to help you wake up your fascial system, your nervous system, which can be so important to also wake up that pelvic floor and deep core postpartum and beyond. So we're gonna start with just waking up our feet a little bit. So we're gonna place the 2 domes just down below. And I want you to just start nice and easy, just working on your toes. Like feel like you're just lightly pressing down into those domes with your big toes, working out to the little toes, and then just slowly working down your feet. So we're in the arches, kind of from the inside of the foot, working to the outside of your feet. Now, as you're doing this, I really want to make sure that you stay out of any spots that feel painful, right? We don't ever want to feel pain. That's my firm belief that I've seen with working with so many clients is we want to work with our body. So if there's an area that's painful, back off a little bit so that it's not, right? And then as you work back towards your heel, you're going to want to stand on one leg. Make sure that knee is soft so we don't want to lock our knee. Our core is lightly on. Think about this light zipping up through our core as we then just work around our heel, all the way around, just kind of hitting all that tissue of the feet so that we can wake up our feet a little bit more, which can help you to wake up that pelvic floor. Good, let's switch to the other foot. Just kind of massaging underneath that foot, around the heel, the outer part of the foot. And then again, that leg that you're standing on, watch that your knee is not locked. You want that knee to stay soft because that's gonna help to wake up your pelvic floor and deep core. Okay, once you feel like you've kind of got all around both of your feet, we're gonna take the domes and we're gonna come on down to our mat. Now, for those of you who are newer postpartum, if you have diastasis, any back pain or things like that, I highly am gonna recommend that you get onto your side to roll to your back. But first, we're gonna place the domes. So we wanna place those domes towards the end of our mat, about sits bones width apart. So they're gonna be fairly close. Then we're gonna lay on our side and we're gonna roll to our back. Now from here, we wanna put our toes over those domes, okay? So it's just, again, we're gonna wake up those feet a little bit more. Our feet are so important here, and our arms can just be at our side. So we're gonna start with some pelvic tilts. We wanna exhale, think about gentle pelvic floor, lower belly, activates, and we wanna think about the zipping up sensation through the top of our head. Inhale, we're gonna roll towards our tailbone, and then exhale, think pelvic floor, lower belly, starts to zip up towards the top of our head. So as we're moving through this movement, it's really small, and notice how I just have a tendency to put my hands on my lower belly. I encourage my clients to do that in the beginning. You wanna feel that lower belly start to wake up. It's very gentle, and your movement today might be really small, and that's okay. Now on the next one, we're gonna move into a hip roll. So we start with our pelvic tilt, and then we wanna think about our toes kind of really grabbing onto the domes here. We're gonna start to tilt our pelvis and slowly take our hips up to where it feels good on our back. We don't want any tension in that lower back. We wanna feel like we're lifting with those deep abs. And then on our next exhale, we soften our ribs as we slowly peel down one vertebrae at a time. Inhale, we want to release at the bottom. We're rolling towards our tailbone. Exhale, it's a gentle pelvic tilt, just our deep core working, then our glutes and hamstrings, and use those toes. Now, as we're rolling our hips up, feel like you want to like pull your heels towards your hips. You're going to activate your hamstrings a lot more when you do that. And then on our next exhale, you're going to slowly peel down one vertebrae at a time. Good. Let's do a couple more of those. Good, now you have the option if you would like, take those arms overhead. It's gonna help us to stretch out our mid-back, and then exhale as we roll down, soften through those ribs, one vertebrae at a time. Release your pelvis at the bottom. Good, and then exhale, pelvic tilt again. Kind of grab those domes a little bit with your toes, just to help you wake up those hamstrings. Exhale as we roll down. So really starting to feel what's waking up around those ribs. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, pelvic tilt. So these can be really small. Maybe you barely lift your hips and that's what feels good for your body today, then that's where I want you to stay. If this doesn't feel good with your arms overhead, then just place them back at your side. I just like the arms overhead because we get a longer fascial connection from our toes, through that pelvic floor, lower belly, around to those ribs, and then all the way up. So kind of think about reaching through your pinkies here. Exhale, we roll on down. Good, let's do one more. And exhale, soften and roll on down. Good work on those. Okay, bringing your arms back to your side. I want you to roll to your side. Hopefully you can start to feel your core working a little bit. We're gonna take those domes and we're gonna come back to our back here. We're gonna take those just kind of down and off to our sides here. Now we're gonna be lightly pushing into the domes with our palms as we let our legs fall to the side. So let your legs fall a little bit to the left. Exhale, we pull those legs to the center. Inhale, we let them drop to the right a little bit. Exhale, use that exhale to pull those legs back up. So we think about kind of reaching, make sure those domes, you might have to pick them up and reach a little farther. Reach through those pinkies, okay? And press those palms down a little bit. Inhale, we go to the side. Exhale, we zip up through that pelvic floor, lower belly, and those ribs, okay? So we're pressing our palms down into the domes. And then we're exhaling and pulling those legs up to the center. And again, your range can be really small on here because I want you to feel this in that core. Inhale, we lower to the right. Breathe out to the sides of your ribs. Exhale, we pull up to the center. Inhale, we drop our legs to the left. So really focus on staying through a range where you can feel that nice reach through your fingers, especially your pinkies. Let those legs just fall to one side and we're focused on controlling with our core. Good, let's do one more each side. Last one to the right, and then we'll come back to the center. Great work on this. Okay, we're gonna take our domes with us and we're gonna roll on over to our stomach. So we're gonna do kind of a version of a swan prep here. And we're gonna use these again because I want you to wake up your fingers a little bit more. So from here, what you're gonna do, legs can be open just wider than your mat. And I want you looking straight down into your mat. Palms are gonna be forward a little bit so that you can have your full forearm pressing down into your mat. And you want your fingers, I want you to take your fingers and kind of grab the domes with those fingers. Let's just do a couple right here where you kind of just are waking up those fingers. You could even come up and push with your palms a little bit more. Just wake those fingers up a little bit. Okay, so now we're gonna really start to focus on what is your pelvic floor, lower belly doing and feeling the front of those ribs working. So just lightly kind of wrapping those fingers around the domes. And if your fingers are touching the mat, I want you just kind of reaching into the mat a little bit too. So our palms are down and our forearms are down. We're gonna think about lengthening through the top of our head, reaching through those legs, and then I want you to think about pelvic floor, lower belly lifts and start to lift the front of those ribs off of the mat. Good. Inhale, we control and lower back down. Take your head down with you. Exhale, press those palms down, lengthen and lift. Good. So as we're doing this movement, you're really starting to think about what the front of your ribs are doing. And maybe you have to adjust your arms a little bit as you get moving. That's fine. Take them out a little bit wider. And again, it doesn't matter how much you lift. I want you to think about your mid back and the front of those ribs zipping up, feeling those ribs working. And then inhale, we lower on down. Exhale, lengthen. And inhale to lower on down. So we feel those abs waking up. We want to keep reaching through those legs so that we're not dumping into our lower back. So maybe you even kind of barely lift and that feels best for you. That's fine. Now I want you guys to think about pushing down into the domes and pulling those arms back a little bit more. You should feel the back of those shoulders and those triceps start to kick on. Inhale, we lower a little. Exhale, lift up with those ribs, pull on back. Good, let's go for 3 more. Exhale. Inhale to lower, and 2. If it feels okay to start lifting your forearms, you can. And then we'll do 1 more. Pull those palms back a little bit. And then from here, we're gonna bring the domes with us and we're gonna press back into one of my favorites and my clients' favorites. We're gonna do what I call an arch and round. So you can think about a child's pose, right? A child's pose, and we kind of tuck our pelvis. With an arch and round, we want to keep our chest open forward. You're going to press your palms straight down into the ball and open your fingers. Now, we want our sternum, our chest going forward as we stick our butt out. You kind of wiggle those hips around too. That can feel really good. And then as you exhale, you want to think pelvic floor, lower belly. Start to round that spine just a little bit. And then inhale, we wanna open our chest again and send our sits bones back. So I like to talk about the spreading of your sits bones here. You really feel like you're sticking your butt out. Pull your chest forward and press those palms into the dome, into the domes here. And then exhale, little pelvic tilt. Start to round that spine, but keep your shoulders out of your ears. Inhale as we bring our head forward and stick our sits bones back. Exhale, think pelvic tilt. Round that spine. This can be a really good one to wake up that pelvic floor. Press down into those domes, lengthen. Exhale. Let's go for 2 more. Open on the inhale, exhale, it's pelvic tilt first, then we start to round up our spine. Good. And then 1 more. Exhale to round that spine. And on this one, you can start to walk on in, bring those knees in, and let's go ahead and come up to stand. Great job on today's core workout, you guys.